Welcome to another tea time edition of Purana Talk with the Purana guys, Alan and Leon.
They're Cameroonian black tea with a little bit of milk and sugar.
Lovely.
It's not a tea that we sell anymore, but it's quite nice. The servants of the empire cultivated some nice tea, I must say.
We're in the Garuda Purana. We're at chapter 238 of the first skanda.
Essence of the Gita, or so it says. The Lord said, O Partha, the 8 components of yoga are yama, restraint, niyama, ritualistic observances, asana, the yogic posture, pranayama, breath control, pratyahara, abstraction, dhyana, meditation, dharana, retention, and samadhi, trance. These are conducive to salvation. They are yoga in a nutshell.
I, of course, want that list.
Well, I just read it to you.
I know, but I didn't get it all.
You can go back and, okay. All right, yama, restraint. It's like not doing of bad things.
Right.
The next one is called niyama, and it says it's ritualistic observances, but it's really the negation, in a sense, of yama. So these are things, good things you do.
Doing.
As opposed to bad things you don't do, good things
Right.
you do. Do those good things you do to me.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I'll be sorry that's recorded. Asana. We know what that is.
Yep.
Pranayama. We know what that is. Pratyahara. P-R-A-T-Y-A, line over it. H-A, line over it. R-A. Pratyahara. Abstraction. It's very abstract. Dhyana, we know, meditation. Dharana, retention, holding.
I didn't get that last one.
Dharana, D-H-A with a line over it. R-A-N with a dot under it, A with a line over it.
D-H-A with a line over it.
R-A-N with a dot under it,
Mm-hmm.
A with a line over it. Dharana. Retention. And samadhi.
Thank you.
And now it looks like it's going to go through some of these in detail, because even though it doesn't tell us right at the beginning, we're going through some of the yamas, the restraints. First amongst which is ahimsa. And we're in stanza 2. Non-violence. Non-hurting. Ahimsa is the virtue of refraining from inflicting injury upon living beings by actions, thoughts, and speech at all times. It accords happiness. 3. Even an injury inflicted in accordance with Vedic injunctions is also ahimsa. Even if the Vedas tell you to do it, if you inflict injury, it's ahimsa. The eternal virtue is the telling of truth, the telling of the pleasant. One shall not tell even truths which are unpleasant, and untruths which may be pleasant. So it's important to tell the truth, but if it's unpleasant, better to tell a pleasant untruth. That seems to be what it's saying.
That's probably what it's saying.
4. Seizing of another man's wealth by stealth or by force is called steya, theft. Not doing it is called asteya. It is a righteous thing. Not stealing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a yama. It's a thing you don't do. 5. Abjuring sexual intercourse by actions, thoughts, and speech in all states, at all times, and everywhere is called brahmacharya, celibacy. I guess it should be a short A, brahmacharya, celibacy. Acceptance of wealth must be avoided carefully. Non-acceptance of the same willingly, even in danger, is called aparigraha. Shaucha, or purification, is of two varieties, the external one by means of earth and water, the internal one by means of good feelings and thoughts. Santosha, contentment, is the sense of satiety over what is casually secured. It gives everlasting happiness. So, two kinds of purity, external, internal, and santosha, or contentment, is the sense of satiety, of being satisfied with whatever you get. Tapas, or austerity, is the concentration of mind and the sense organs. It is also the voluntary withering up of the body by holy rites, krichra, chandrayana, etc. Austerity, fasting, and other painful deprivations. 9. Learned men call the recital of Vedic passages Shatarudriya, Pranava, etc., which purify the soul, svadhyaya. I'll read that slightly differently. Learned men call the recital of Vedic passages, Shatarudriya, Pranava, etc., which purify the soul, svadhyaya. Recital of Vedic passages that purify the soul is called svadhyaya. And self-purification, I guess. Ishvara Chintana is the unflinching devotion to Hari by means of eulogy, remembrance, and adoration, as well as by speeches, thoughts, and actions.
So it's a bhakti.
Ishvara Chintana. And it tells you it's unflinching devotion to Hari, but Hari's name is not in Ishvara Chintana, just God. So you could insert your God here. 11. Asana is the posture, such as swastika, padma, and ardhasana, which would be half lotus. Prana is the air within the body. Ayama is the suppression of the same. O Pandava, the restraint and diversion of the sense organs that stray into evil objects is called pratyahara. Dhyana, meditation, is the contemplation of the embodied or disembodied Brahman. At the beginning of the practice of yoga, Hari can be meditated upon in the embodied or disembodied form. The deity of Vayu must be contemplated upon as stationed in the middle of the zone of Agni, wind in the middle of fire. The four-armed deity Vishnu must be meditated upon as bearing Shankha, Chakra, Gada, and Padma, shell, discus, mace, and lotus, and also as having Kaustuba, which is the gem that identifies Vishnu. I, endowed with Kaustuba, and known as Brahman and Vanamalin, shall be meditated upon as such. This is called dharana because the deity is retained in the mind. Dharana, remember, was retention. So you retain the image. And this is Vishnu's voice suddenly speaking. I, endowed with Kaustuba and known as Brahman, and Vanamalin, the wearer of the forest garland, Vanamalin, shall be meditated upon as such. This is called dharana because the deity is retained in the mind. The state in which one is conscious, I am Brahman, is called samadhi. Men get salvation through the knowledge generated by the Vedic statement, I am Brahman, or Tattvam Asi in one form. the two words I and Brahman must be taken to mean the implied sense and the feeling of identity realized. How to think of them when you're thinking of them.
Yeah.
So, one thing that occurs to me in all of this is, partly now he addresses O Partha at one point, but later on he says O Pandava. It's sort of coming clear to me that it really is Krishna speaking, Vishnu as Krishna, to Arjuna on the battlefield. And what it's telling us is that even though the Mahabharata gives one discourse for what goes on that we may be familiar with as the Bhagavad Gita, this Purana tells the esoteric yogic teaching that Krishna gave to Arjuna on the battlefield as he sits in his chair, because that seems to me what's going on here.
Sure.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, this whole discourse on yoga and what the different parts of it are is very interesting to me. I've not seen any book that portrays it this way, except this one. So, I think you could write a very interesting thing about yoga in the Puranas. Just because in some cases it's giving fairly detailed instructions. And in other cases,
maybe that should be your homework.
ones.
Write a very interesting thing about yoga in the Puranas. We might, but we probably won't. We talk about it. It would be interesting. I mean, it's interesting to see, how yoga has been thought of and depicted at different ages, because it certainly has gone through a kind of renaissance in the late 20th century and early 21st century. And but it's a sort of a different animal than it was.
Lots of people are resorting to Patanjali for their information about yoga, and he hardly mentions it compared to the Puranas that are going into quite depth about it.
Well, Patanjali, that's what he does. He is the exponent of yoga.
But he really doesn't explore it very much. For instance,
he just lays it out.
Well,
Raja Yoga, I mean, you read the text.
Sure. But what I'm pointing out is that he doesn't really go into asana much. This actually gave names for the positions and stuff.
Well, it gave examples of 3 positions.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, that sort of thing. I think that it might flesh out what there is.
Yeah. And on that note,
see you later.